And now it's time for the wrap-up of the year's 2008 top stories. We gave you the previous 5 yesterday. We're giving you the final 5 today. Did you guess which one was the top story? Here's News Channel 8's Wes Small with our top 5 stories of 2008.
Once again, Happy New Year to everyone out there. And before we get started on the last of our top 10, don't forget we gave you 5 yesterday, and now we have the last 5 today. I know you all can't wait for that number 1 story. There were a couple of stories that did not make it into the top 10. Stories like the bank robbery. Remember that? The famous the bank robbery that happened in Peter's Rest. That's when the suspect, Topal, was taken into custody. He worked for a pool organization, a swimming pool organization, and on his lunch hour, he supposedly robbed that bank by himself. Several witnesses said that he never left the building. He was just having lunch. They never found the reward money. Not only that, the prosecution's case is kind of weak, to say the least. They've already been warned by Superior Judge Donahue to come a little better, or else this case could be thrown out. Plus, it was a bank. That means it was a federal crime, right? But the feds dropped the case. So we're going to be looking into this trial in 2009 very carefully. News Channel 8 is going to be all over this story. And don't forget Dustin Rhodes, the missing EMT whose body was found in the Annalee Bay area near Hams Bluff. Remember that. The toxicology reports really hasn't come back yet official. We'll be looking into that in 2009 to see if that story ties into any crime or anything like that. Let's get to the top 5 then. Coming in at 5, number 5 for 2008 is the fish market situation. Who can forget that? It all started when Governor John DeYoung visited the elders at the Frederickstead Fish Market to talk about some pertinent issues. Well, soon as the governor pretty much went around the corner, the elders were approached by the VIPD and said they couldn't be there anymore. Wow. That created a standoff between Police Chief Oakland Benta and then Senator-to-be Siegel Kendall Peterson. Remember that? And then the feds went and raided Kendall Peterson's house right before the election. And perhaps that trial or those circumstances, that evidence will be coming up for 2009 as well. Coming in at number 4 is the political upheaval in the Virgin Islands, especially for St. Croix. 3 senators gone Bush: Norman Jean-Baptiste, Ronald Russell, and who can forget Juan Figueroa Cervil. Remember that? We're talking about the pay hikes and so forth. And he said, come on, I'm a big guy. I need bigger clothes, more expensive wardrobe. Well, that pretty much put the nail in his coffin. Who knows what the next legislature is going to bring about, and if they're going to be held accountable for their actions for the next 2 years. We certainly wish them luck. Coming in at number 3 was the loss of a radio icon, George Bagoon O'Reilly. We lost a giant, a cultural giant in our territory who perhaps will never be replaced. Long time fixation here on WSTX radio, and also a personal close friend of mine, and again, one of my mentors that I wouldn't be where I am today had it not been for brothers like Bagoon. May he rest in peace. Coming in at number 2 was WAPA and the deadly LEOC. Remember that? Those Friday afternoon rallies, banging the drum in front of Government House. Who knows? If those rallies didn't take place, perhaps we would still be paying that deadly LEOC. How many more businesses would have shut down? How many people wouldn't be able to pay rent or foreclose their homes because of that deadly LEOC and the WAPA situation? Well, let's only hope that we'll never see the LEOC again. And now it's time for the number 1 story of 2008. Sure, you know what it is. By now you have to, because where am I? Juan Louis Hospital. That's where it all started several months ago. Actually, it started in Catherine's Rest, when in Catherine's Rest, a young man by the name of Shadrach Frett and his associate were gunned down in a shootout around 9 o'clock, broad daylight on a weekday morning in Catherine's Rest, as gunshots just rang out and shook up an entire neighborhood. Well, the two young men were recovering right here at Juan Louis Hospital. And Fred, he was the last one to recover in the ICU ward, supposedly guarded by a correction officer, when supposedly word on the street was that Shadrach Fred was making threats from his hospital bed that when he got out of Juan Louis, bodies would fall, payback and revenge would be his. Well, that took care of that, because 4 masked men came into this facility. How could they do it? They tied up a security guard, overpowered or frightened a correction officer as they emptied their loads into Shadrach Fred, executing him. Nearly 100 or so bullets all over the area. Heaven only knows why no one else was hurt in that deadly assault. How could that happen? It seemed like a scene out of HBO or Cinemax late at night, as once again the Virgin Islands made headline in CNN News. To this day, we have not been held accountable for that execution. Sure, Catherine's Rest suspects were taken into custody by federal authorities. They are still in Puerto Rico. Their attorney, Jeffrey Moorhead. However, they have not been directly charged for this assault and execution of Shadrach Fred. That's a story that this news reporter and News Channel 8 will be all over in 2009. So there you have it. Did you guess it right? The #1 story of the year? You got it. The execution of Shadrach Fred right here at Juan Louis Hospital. One thing is for certain. Security at this hospital will never be the same again. Look inside the lobby and you could tell you can hardly get through this checkpoint right here. Never again will security be the same at Juan Louis Hospital. So there you have it, 2008, and oh, what a turbulent year it's been. You thought I forgot something, didn't you? No, I did not forget the election of the first black president, Barack Obama. Even though it was national and international, it directly affects us here locally. That is probably the #1 story of the year of 2008. Don't forget, it was only over 200 years ago that black people were enslaved in the very country that has elected a black president. It could happen. Now anyone of any race, creed, color, or religion can be a president of the most powerful nation in the world. It could happen. By that, News Channel 8 wants to wish you and your family a very happy and successful 2009. The very best of health to you and yours. I'm Wes Small for News Channel 8.
Thanks, Wes. Did you guess right? Well, stay with us on News Channel 8. We have more news after the break.